Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. Let me cut Tom down there before I go to YouTube jail. Welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. These are two of the injectors for Marv, my 7.3 liter F250 Powerstroke. Two of them are over there. I've already rebuilt them. The last video you saw on this topic was me going over the differences between a 90cc injector, a 160, a 180, a 238 hybrid, etc. Today is the actual building of the injectors. I'm going to run through one of them with you. There was some drama on a forum where, I never know, am I like misunderstanding people, or am I taking them the wrong way, or are they taking me the wrong way? There's a couple injector builders who hopped on a forum post that I put up. They're like, just keep your expectations low, and here's a link to another guy who did it and failed. I don't know what their motivation was there, but it seems as if they're saying, this will be fine as long as you don't expect it to work. Now, to be clear, my injectors worked perfect before, as far as I know. I didn't flow test them. I didn't send them to the International Space Station for analysis. What I know is that my truck started up when it was 14 degrees outside without being plugged in with one cycle of the glow plugs. Darn. No smoke, no muss, no fuss. It was a raging piece of shit, and it had 2 holes in the cylinder head. So I'm going to say these injectors are good, and I expect them to be just as good afterwards. If you're the type of person who needs a bunch of guarantees and promises and warranties, this process may not be for you. You may find it interesting anyway, just to see what's in there. There's not a lot. It's just like some pins and some springs and not a lot. Yeah, let's just get into it. Let's just get to the point here. This is my 3rd injector that I've rebuilt, so it's not like I'm some kind of super expert. I'm just going to... You can buy these trucks on eBay from a guy who goes by the name of Truck Rental for the tools. My O-rings came from there. My new springs came from there. These Intensifier pistons I cut down myself on a surface grinder. I showed you guys in a previous video how you can buy them from HD Pros for a few dollars. It's not a big deal. This little magnetic pan is where I'm throwing all the check balls and stuff as I go through. You don't have to replace them all. I am, because I got new ones like it came in with the O-rings. Truck Rental sells a bunch of different kits of various completeness and grade, I guess you could say. I got tired of going through them all and eventually just said, F it, I'm getting this one. And that's what happened. Anyway, take note of how the injector is when you start. Shouldn't be too big a deal, but see this long piece goes down here. I'm calling this the front, even though it actually sits in the truck like this, but I've been building them like this with this facing me. So this hole goes towards this thing. These top screws are T25s, and I'm using this bit and a wrench not because you have to, but because I made this tool to fix my wife's Jeep a few weeks ago now, and now I have no T25 bit. So crack each one loose. The kit that Truck Rental sends you has a T15 in it, and that is what I've been using to actually, once I break these loose, they're not super tight. I don't know. I saw some stuff that said they would be super tight. Oh, also some of these other videos say that, like, I don't know, they start by pulling all the O-rings off. You don't have to. I will, the external O-rings, there's 3. There's 3 inside too, there's 3 internal. But I'll replace these O-rings like before I put them in the truck, whenever that'll be. The engine's literally sitting over there, so it's gonna be a little minute. Hopefully This is going to be a long video, by the way. I'm not going to cut it. Hopefully the GoPro stays warm enough that it continues to record the whole time. I have a stupid fucking GoPro. I have a big battery that actually the GoPro is mounted to, but the Hero 8 apparently cannot do pass-through charging while using an external mic, and my audio would be shit without an external mic. Usually the other two. To be clear, I am not an expert, and which is the whole point of my channel, is that you can be just a guy and do this. I'm just a guy with mediocre mechanical talent. This little thing is a 4.5 millimeter reverso bit. You can buy them on eBay as Nintendo bits, which I actually bought one like that, but the truck rental kit also came with one, so it seems to be a better quality. You do have to give like a good amount of down pressure on these. The truck rental kit comes with new like normal Torx bits. Oh, you have to hold this magnet. I've been doing that with this. Once it's loose, they come right out. There's stuff in here is spring loaded, but it doesn't like fly apart like my grandma's grandfather clock did when I was a kid. So you don't have to worry about like stuff flying all over the shop. In the comments of various social media posts and questions and statements and answers, I've seen people saying that they've done this before and they used like a granite or a mirror and sandpaper to clean things up and take out the staining that we'll see on the different parts. You can certainly do that if you like. So this is under a little bit of spring pressure, by the way. You'll see that in a moment here. But it's not ridiculous, like I said. There's nothing in here, like if your injectors work good now, there's no reason why you should not do this. Hopefully you can see that rising up. But the pressure's all gone before like you get the last thread free. See? There is an internal O-ring in here that will change. I change them when I put them back together. No particular reason. This is called the oil side, so it's literally full of oil. This is what's left over, so I throw this out every time, and then it's carb cleaner and miscellaneous dirt goes in there. So I've been throwing that out, wiping it out, and replacing it. You can do an ultrasonic cleaner if you have one. I don't. I thought about buying one for this. Seems like worthwhile. It's certainly not a bad idea. I kind of want one, but yeah, we're good to go. We're professionally cleaning. That's what some of the comments seem to be, is like people like, you're not going to get a professional result. Like, I'm okay with that. All I expect is that my injectors that work right now, well, worked, you know, before I took the truck apart, will work after I put the truck back together. That's my entire expectation. It's not a lot to ask, I don't think. This piece of little angle is meant to drop through here. So you actually only have to take one of these off, and then just like when you do the injector in the truck, you don't have to take them both off. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you don't know that. I didn't know that. in the truck to remove the injectors from the heads. You only have to, you loosen one and you take one out and it'll slide off. That allows this to turn by the retainer, which I just put on backwards, but no matter. I didn't have my vise bolted down the first two, so it made this a little bit of a debacle. It's bolted down now, but it's bolted down poorly, so it might still be a debacle. Yeah, this is the one, there's two things that I fight with, and this is one of them. Breaking them loose takes a little bit of effort. They're torqued to 70 foot-pounds, which isn't all the foot-pounds in the world, but there's also an O-ring in there, an internal O-ring that's sealing them, which is kind of what's making the noise you're hearing. Now I know you can't see this, but if I put my finger down there, this is rotating, and I'm gonna show you. I've seen some of the older posts that I read through and stuff. People said you can't put them together wrong. That's sort of true, but of course you can put anything together wrong if you try hard enough. So see, not only does it have two holes, which are for pins, they go through the entire injector, all the way down to the nozzle. Everything's pinned together, and they're offset. So you can not line these pins up right, and then tighten it down and break something or hurt something, I bet. But you cannot not have them, like, you can just not install them or whatever, I guess. There's ways you can put it together wrong, I guess. This is the intensifier piston. This is the whole deal. This determines how much fuel shoots out. The length of that. I'll bring this back over in case you didn't watch the other. These are the ones I cut down from the junkyard injectors. You can see the difference. The new ones are shorter, which allows more fuel. This is going to make a mess, by the way. Typically, what I do at this point is I drop the whole mess in here. This is how I'm doing it. You can take them apart like piece by piece. I guess I'll do that. I've been dumping the whole thing in there and then carb cleaning it. But I'll take it apart piece by piece so you can kind of see how these go. These little tools can go back to the back for now. So this plunger and spring come out. You can push, actually you can't because I didn't take the crush washer off. Because I've been doing it all backwards. Goodness gracious. Me oh my. Alright. Like I said, I've been dumping the whole thing and then popping this crush washer off, which allows the nozzle to come out. But that's really, you might want to do it in a more workmanlike fashion, I suppose. I won't judge you too harshly for that. That crush washer is not reusable, and I don't know why I keep throwing them in there. I mean, I do, because if something happens and I have one crush washer missing, I'm going to reuse it. But you shouldn't. So, see the pins here? This spacer dealio. So these are pinned to this upper here. And the whole thing will sit on there like this. And the whole thing is screwed together. So when you put the two together, you have to be careful to hit those pins and hit them correctly. And then inside, see, there's another long pin. Okay, so we'll set this here. We'll put this in the middle. There's a check ball right there that I'll replace because my kit came with a new one. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to dump this. And then flip it back up like this. So this is called a stopper plate, I think. It's next. It sits like this. Inside it has a top and a bottom. Inside of it's a check ball and a little widget dude. It's like a little 16 whatever blah 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 battery. Inside this spacer is a spring, and this thing sits at the bottom. There's two short pins that go in the bottom of this spacer barrel, like this, that screw into the nozzle or drop into the nozzle. The short pins go down here. Then you can kind of tap the needle out. There we go. This is out now. Here's your nozzle. This is what everybody's like cautioning you has to be perfect and can't have a lick of dirt in it ever. Almost everything in here is way bigger than a piece of dust, by the way. A piece of dust is 5 microns-ish. I'm going to do this up here and spray it all over everything so you can see it. You can see nozzle's clean. And now I have carb cleaner everywhere. Just for you, dear viewers. Let me pull you down real quick. So, this is everything. Nozzle, needle, barrel, stop plate, thingy. I might not be calling these the right names. I'm sure. One nice thing about being me is if I don't call something the right name or if I get any detail incorrect, the comment section will help me out. I'm going to throw them all in here. I'm going to blast them off with carb cleaner. That's the next step for me. I do have a big, nice parts washer. It's actually right next to us. But you probably don't. So, as I go through this and I put this in here, the things that I'm not going to reuse, which are mainly the check balls and the springs, I will throw aside in my magnetic tray. There's a check ball in here. I know I mentioned it, but maybe you didn't realize it. Do these check balls wear? Probably over time. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, that kind of brings me back to what I was saying. One piece of dust is 5 microns. The fuel filter on a Powerstroke is 10 microns, which means things smaller than 10 pass through. There's a check ball in there under this little band, which I've been popping up like this with a razor. Try not to cut my dick off. It's a little challenging to do this and not cut your dick off, but you can, and you can probably do it better than me. Earlier when I was saying that, like, if you have injector problems, this isn't going to work. It won't work if you don't solve your problem, but if you can take it apart and figure out what it is, then you're golden. All these parts are replaceable. You can buy them through Red At in Italy. You can buy them through HD Pros. This spring is not in the kit. It's going to stay. You can buy them through Red Hat in Italy. You can buy them through HD Pros, Interstate McBee. They're available. Again, I'm not going to bother taking these O-rings off until I'm actually ready to do O-rings. Inside there, which may be a little difficult to see, there's a fair bit of schmut. All three of them so far have had a fair bit of crap in them, the inside of this lower body. So I kind of start out by spraying that first. I like to get as much as possible into my beer, because, you know, nothing says America's space station middle finger, because we're doing NASA shit here. Only for the professionals, never for me and you. So anyway, I kind of sloppily do this. I know a lot of people like wire wheel it and get it clean to perfection. I am not doing that. To me, the argument that this thing was functioning before. So this is the kind of staining that people like worry about. And some of it comes off when you scrub at it a little bit with Scotch-Brite. That's all I'm using. You can always do as good a job as you want to. Like, if you want to be like, I don't want to do that hack shit you did, I'm going to wire wheel or, you know, knock yourself out. Like, I won't stop you. I'm not here to tell you you don't have to, or, you know, you shouldn't, or I guess I'm saying you don't have to. But, I'm going to show you in a moment the hardest part for me, the one part that I have real difficulty with, and you guys will probably get to see me struggle with it a little bit. For me, the one part that I have a literal legit hard time with is the Intensifier piston O-ring. That piston sits up in there like a upside down cup, and it's sealed with an O-ring. And it kind of sucks, like the way that you have to push it up in there. It's just not awesome. But I can do it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. It'll all be fine. We can all go faster for less money. The ironic thing about all this is I didn't even want to do this. Like, I didn't want injectors, and of course, you know, the internet. Everybody's quick to spend your money. I figured the truck would be pretty good with just a Hydra tuner. My old 8.1 truck dynoed at like 235 horsepower to the tires, and I think 460 foot-pounds ish, which is what I've seen a 7.3 dyno at. So I was kind of like, you know, if I'm going to get 8.1 results with a little bit better mileage, this is why I don't like using Scotch-Brites. They come apart and leave schmuck everywhere. If I can get 8.1-ish results out of the 7.3 and a little better mileage, and, you know, have my work truck back that I miss, that'd be great. So I wasn't going to do it, and then I came across, you know, the kind of clue that it's really only the Intensifier piston that makes it a bigger injector. I'm like, well, I can cut Intensifier pistons down. Maybe other people want to do that. Maybe other people have good running trucks and they just want more power and they don't want to spend $1,200. Maybe I can show them. Yeah, I had some guy on a Facebook group today. Well, how did you lap the valve? I'm like, I didn't do any of that, dude. I didn't do any of that. Well, you're acting like injector companies are ripping people off. I'm not acting like anything. I'm just saying that you can do less. If I were selling injectors, I would probably want to lap them and test them and do all the other lovely things to them as well, because I wouldn't want to deal with them coming back with my name on them, you know, and people saying, well, you sold me this shitty injector. Yeah. Or even if they didn't, like, I just wouldn't want to deal with having to redo it, like when I'm trying to make money at it. Valid. I get that. I'm just a guy, though. I'm just a boy in the world. So, I'm totally okay with taking this apart, replacing the one part that I need, and putting them back together. So the way that I've been doing this is by dropping them upside down like that. And then I blow everything up. To try to get the schmut from this goes in there. Bloop. Woo. Don't do that. My goodness. Good night, Irene. All right, take two. Magic of Hollywood. Nobody saw that. A lot of the you guys who are here for OBS content and are here for this are new to my channel. The whole point of my channel is that a guy who wants to do some stuff with a little bit of effort, a little bit of thought, minimal tooling, can get some shit done. I'm just trying to find ways that, you know, a boy can get along in the world and have a good time without spending $50,000 on a fully built OBS Powerstroke. So the short pins go into the nozzle body thingy, whatever. I know somebody's gonna be like, it's not called that, it's called a hyper intensifier. This thing has wear on it. You can see there where the spring's been sitting on it, and you can see there where it's been pushing on that pin. So put it the right way down. I've seen people drop them in here, but I do it this way. And then there's two holes, offset, and you got your little hole up top. This is the same way. So this all lines up. You just kind of drop it on the pins. Drop your spring in. Boop. This plate, this pin goes in there. Now, that pin stands proud of the barrel or spacer or whatever. I don't know which one of these is a barrel. It doesn't matter. The point is, the pin or the spring stands proud. It's sticking up. So when you go to do this, now you're using long pins. All four long pins are the same, by the way. this thing that looks like a big battery that's I think called the stop plate. You see how it has for a smaller battery, and a check ball goes there. And then this side's angled, so you could in theory put this on upside down. This is upside down, to be clear. This side that has the top is the right way. I was concerned about which one of these goes where because people weren't being clear in the different threads that I read. Well, it goes like that. It goes this side up with the top. The lid goes up. So put your little tiny battery back in your big battery or throw it on the floor. Doesn't really matter. Have a drink of beer. From NASA to your house. I've been keeping my check balls over here in my little pick thing. And also, like I said, I'm throwing the old ones in the magnetic tray. Truck rental gives you some extras. It just seems, I think there's 4 extra. But it seems inevitable that I'll lose some. Now this is the same thing. You can see the staining here versus here. This clearly had something pushing on it. This clearly was pushing right here. So again, you can't put it wrong. If you try to put it like this, it won't line up with the pins. You can put it in a way that the wear marks weren't lined up, I suppose. I don't know what would matter. This thing gets a check ball. The check balls are all the same, by the way. I guess I may have been unclear, or I may not have mentioned that. Check ball goes in there. Little wedding band goes back on it. Thank you, George Strait. You guys know about George Strait. Again, offset pins. You can't do it wrong. This goes on, to me, counterintuitively because I want it to build up like a rocket. You know, rocket truck, right? It actually goes on tapered side down in this orientation. So, drop that on them pins. Now, this part's a wee bit tricky. There's 2 things I want you to see here, though. Number 1, I'm pretty stable, even when I've been drinking. See how it's all pinned together? It all turns together. So, keep it together, JR. The world is watching, I've been told. Motherfucker. See what happens? You guys made me nervous, world. Watching. Let's try this another way. Whoop. So, I can spin this and see that everything's turning like it should be. I will now, for my next trick, I'll now put it back. These are just roll pins, 1/4-inch roll pins, by the way. You can get them anywhere. They locate on these holes in the injector body, and then the whole thing drops in like this. And now we move on to the part that I hate. Oh, derp. That pin or that spring that I said doesn't get reused or doesn't get replaced. Doesn't get replaced. That goes over the plunger. The last 2 long pins you drop into the pinholes here. You can do this with tweezers or, you know, your fingers, like a human. Then this thing goes on it, and then the whole thing stands up and wobbles safely. Again, these will drop you have to kind of push up on the bottom and catch this and rotate the whole thing until it catches. There's 2 O-rings here that we need to replace before we do that, though. The outer one, which is a piece of cake, and then down inside there, which I hope you can see, there's an orange one that has to come out. Getting it out's not that hard. Getting it in's a problem, just like real life. Just kind of pop a pick in there, give her a twirl, and the O-ring comes out. And then this outer one's, like I said, fucking cakewalk. Probably cut my finger off now I said that. I have found that both of them so far, yeah, they're all kind of stuck in the groove there. I've been throwing all these O-rings in a pile at my feet because, again, I want to make sure they're accounted for and that I've taken them off appropriately. I don't remember if I blasted this thing out or not. Time for a fresh can. It's kind of one cost, like if I had an ultrasonic cleaner, I could probably save, you know, the $20 on carb cleaner here and not stain up my floor. But it would take longer. The whole process would take longer. Not real keen on that. So, where's all my O-rings? Oh, there they are. This is the internal O-ring kit. These fat blue ones go down inside. These are purple. It might not show on the camera, but that's the external one. JR, dip these in normal ass shell Rotel. I think Rotel is a shit that my wife makes me salsa with. One of the things that's not working in my favor here is that this shop's not heated. Before I started the video, I left my heater on for a while, but I don't keep it heated. So these things are kind of hard-ish. The other thing is, like, you can see that it's significantly bigger than the bore that it's going in. And what I've been able to do is pinch it down and see it wants to dip down like that. And if I can catch the groove that it goes in and lead it into it like that, it works out okay. If I can get that first edge in, from there on I don't have a problem. See, it's past right now. Trying to push it past and then pull it up to it, it's not worked for me. So, but this way has. But sometimes I generally have to do this like 49 times. I kind of don't want to edit this out because I want you guys to see. Last night it was really cold, so I just held one in my hand for a while, like a little kid with some candy. And then it's all sweaty, melted Tootsie Roll running down their fist. Yeah, I mean, I get them in. It works. I promise it goes in. Just the tip. Yeah, anyway. I hope that you can see, because I have this one right about where I want it. There it goes. I got that one hooked in there. This is going to go now. Nope, I pushed it out. I let it come out. There we go. Man, I hope that this is showing up. So then you wind up with this, which is ugly. I'll flip over and work on the other side for a minute. And then just jam the whole mess. Oh, nope, it went past. See, that's not going to do it. remember trying with a screwdriver last night, but I don't remember if it worked. Once you get enough of it in, it kind of forces the rest out. Now I have, wait, see, I don't think this is going to work. I've not been able to have success at pulling it up yet. There we go. Let's see, can you guys see that? There we go. That is in there and seated as it should be now. I'm going to take a new intensifier piston, roll this around, and pop her in there. This is now ready to go back together. So, I know somebody's going to, well, maybe not. On one of my social media posts, I said that it was like 15 minutes to 160 cc's, which is obviously not quite true. Okay, that just dropped. So this is all turning now. And as you engage the threads, you want to make sure, feel down on the nozzle and make sure that it's continuing to rotate for you. You don't want it to bind up internally. Something will, I don't know what'll break, but obviously something has to give, right? It's a little bit of resistance to get that new O-ring past the fuel side. And then I just run it down until it stops like that. Torque wrench set to 70 foot-pounds. This is not my torque wrench. $70 foot-pounds. Take the tool off the torque wrench, drop it down. Now it's the time that you wish you paid attention when you took it apart. Put my tool back together, set it off to the side for a moment. Well, until the next one. Realize that oh no, I didn't. Hooray. There's a little bit of a port here. I don't know what this thing is, but this goes like this, and then this goes like this. So I'll throw this in my mag tray, throw this like this. See that little ring right there? That's where the wear happens that causes people to have to shim their armatures and stuff, which I'll cover here in a second. That goes like that. This hole goes towards us. Oh, almost forgot. There's an O-ring in there. Let me stand you back up here. This is the third internal O-ring that I almost forgot about. Although I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if I did. Like, like I keep saying, work before I started with it. I push these other ones out with my finger. There we go. Bet you didn't think that would work. I'll rein in there. Pop it out. Hard as a rock. New O-ring from the kit, which is the medium one, but actually these are kind of color coded. This is black. This one's really easy. It's as easy as an external one. Literally just pops in. Work it in with your pick. Throw this thing back in. It takes a pretty firm there we go. That's ready to go. This is ready to go back on here. Why doesn't this want to go through here now? Tell me I didn't put this thing in upside down. I know I didn't. Why you no want to go? That's just way too much spring pressure. Something's wrong here. Oh, that's what was wrong. I put the spring on the wrong side. All right. I'm going to leave that in. Feel free to mock. I got my third injector ever wrong. Oh, you guys can't even see. Let me move you over. Whee! Alright. Alright. Like I said, it's spring loaded, but like not really. For the most part, it's not super tight. And it's not going to fly apart on you. Again, these are T25s, but I'm using a T15 to run them down. You see it compressing that spring, and I'm just using my finger pressure. I'll use my crappy little wrench here. And these are torqued to, you know, yeah, the old quarter turn. 8th turn. This same armature plate goes like that. The truck rental kit comes with some new screws, which are normal Torx instead of reverso Torx. Which should make it easier if you ever have to take it apart again. And since I'm going to run waste oil and vegetable oil and everything else to these injectors, I might be taking them apart again. Which is kind of one of the things that's funny. It's one of the things people say when they're like, I would never run that in my truck, the cost of a set of injectors. What's the cost of a set of injectors when you do it yourself, wiener? So I run this thing down finger tight. Get my tool, bang my now precision calibrating injector. That feels pretty good. Torque to spec. You actually can torque to spec if you want. Now he provides these feeler gauges and shims to correct. This is a 4 thou shim. Mine all passed so far. So I'm not worried too much about it or done anything about it. And again, this is when your truck starts hard when it's cold, you have to crank a lot. Sometimes that's one of the things that truck rental sells is a shim kit to adjust these. I don't need it, it would seem. Some of the advice I've gotten has been not to shim these injectors, but I've seen other people shim theirs and it was no problem. And they seemed much happier after they did. So, you know, I don't know. I'm literally just going to make these finger tight and then use my wrench to actually, again, give them the old 8th turn. That T25 doesn't seem to want to go in there. That might be the right size for these. Turn, turn, turn. There is the season. Turn, turn. There you have it, folks. There's a $250 each 160cc single shot injector, just like that. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I thank you guys for sticking with me for the whole, my goodness, 1 hour. We'll see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.